Hello there, everybody. It's a Wednesday. That means only one thing. It's time now for Supernatural News and Parashare. And with that, we need to bring in a co-hostess. We bring in the best in the biz today. That's right. Once again, we reach out to the great state of Michigan. It's a mitten. I've learned that. There's 5 fingers.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
It's the mitten.
That's right. And so we bring her in. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Mallie Fox. I think are you right here, Mallie? Is that where you are?
Move it a little lower.
A little
over.
On my wrist?
Over. No, that's Ohio.
Okay, that's Ohio. Okay, so
below the thumb and over. We're on the river.
And through the woods?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, somewhere in there. I don't know. I'll learn it someday. I really will. It's wherever we got JJ McCarthy for the Vikings, right?
That's
where you guys are, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere. I don't know. Something like that. Something like that. Big show today, Mallie. And big things are afoot here on the show today. By gosh, we got some interesting news shows today. A couple of interesting TV shows are re-upping. Netflix is re-upping a couple of interesting shows I think you guys are going to want to check out. We'll talk about that today. Interesting UFO news that we'll talk about today as well. And Minnesota has a brand new monster.
Oh.
We're going to talk about that today, but it's probably not what you think.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in fact, I don't think it's all that unusual, but it was unusual the fact that TMZ reported on it.
Ooh, is it like a huge mosquito?
No.
Like Mothman-sized mosquito?
Yeah, this time of year, you normally could put a saddle on one of them things and ride it around the state fair.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's not one of those either. But we'll report on that. It is interesting, though. It's an interesting little, and technically it's a cryptid.
Huh.
Yeah.
So once again, Mothman mosquito.
Right. Mothman mosquito. Mallie's nailed it. That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And 2 brushes with Loch Ness Monster.
Oh.
Yeah. Nessie had 2 brushes this week. So
okay.
We'll talk about that as well today. But first, let's jump deep into the world of aliens, shall we? A super clear metallic disc-shaped UFO was photographed over China. The surprisingly clear image, which was captured over the city of Xiamen, has been circulating social media in recent days. While many photographs of UFOs tend to be distant, blurry, or otherwise indistinct, now and again an image comes along that defies this trend due to its impressive and unusual level of clarity. Captured on camera over the Chinese city of Xiamen by a photographer known only as Cyranim. This remarkable image shows a smooth disc-shaped metallic object high in the sky. The UFO is surprisingly clear and stands out well against the backdrop of sun-illuminated clouds. Exactly what it is, however, remains a topic of debate. Could this be some sort of drone or balloon, or is it evidence of visitors from another world? Tell you what, I'll put this up again in the description of the show, and you can check it out for yourself. I'll just show Mallie on the camera between you and I. I don't know, Mal, what do you think when you take a look at it?
I mean, well, it's very detailed, which makes me think that it's fake.
Okay, all right.
Only from the past, from
Right.
past experiences. And I'm also surprised with China and their censorship that they've allowed it to still be out there.
That's true. That's an interesting take. I'll give you that. They are highly censored there in China. So, but I'll throw the opposite view out there, in that China would be quick to let it be released and say, you know what, we don't know what it is. Maybe it's a foreign invader. So we'll let it fly and let that technology sit out there, because you never know. It could be the U.S. It could be any one of the allied powers out there. And we want to know what it is. So I don't know. I've got an interesting story at the end of this block that may tell you what something like this may potentially be, although it never got up in the air. So that may give you a little bit of an answer. Meanwhile, an amateur astronomer has captured the first photo of secret spacecraft the Pentagon doesn't want people to know about. Speaking of stuff in the air that people may not want to be photographing. An amateur astronomer believes he has captured the first image of an ultra-secretive U.S. spacecraft. Felix Schofbonker from Austria. I have to get the pronunciation right. We do have some listeners in Austria.
Okay. Just don't sound angry if you pronounce stuff.
No. Not Schofbunker. No. It's Schofbunker. There you go.
You said it smoothly.
I did. Schofbunker. Claims to have photographed a classified fleet of spy satellites operated by a shadowy Department of Defense agency to hunt international terrorists, drug dealers, and crime lords for the U.S. government. The Future Imagery Architecture, FIA radars, also called Topaz, are 5 craft made by Boeing, which are powerful enough to provide high-definition imaging of targets on the ground 24 hours of the day. Using a telescope built to track and photograph satellites, Schofbunker observed things that either were not known or only were speculated before, including their size, shape, and position in the sky. The U.S. launched its first spy satellite, Corona, in 1960 to photograph adversaries in China and the U.S. with a focus on how rapidly the latter was producing long-range bombers and ballistic missiles and where they were being deployed. The satellite imagery captured all Soviet medium range, intermediate range, and intercontinental ballistic missile launching complexes. Easy for me to say. Without Corona, the U.S. may well have been misguidedly pressured into World War III, the CIA shared in a statement. The U.S. leads the world with more than 200 in space, and Schofbunker has observed several in the past few months. The Skywatcher recently shared his discoveries with Space.com, detailing mechanics and technologies he observed. His telescope, a Dobsonian, which spotted several FIA radars, fitted with a synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, which enables the U.S. to beam radar through clouds, foliage, and shallow soil. The images are taken by sending microwave pulses to the Earth's surface and measuring the reflected signals. Topaz is a series of 5 satellites developed by Boeing, with the first launching in 2010, the last in 2018. The U.S. government has been secretive about the capabilities, only sharing details that Topaz 1 had a nuclear power system, an altitude control system, an attitude control system would be even better, and a cylindrical monocoque aluminum structure. While it's unclear which model Schofbunker observed, he was able to make out other details. He says, from my images, I conclude that these satellites have a parabolic mesh antenna, which is roughly 12 meters or 39 feet in diameter, and 2 solar panels with roughly 10 meters or 33 feet of wingspan. He told that to Space.com. Boy, he's got detailed notes here, Mallie. He's got blueprints of what these things look like.
Is that legal, though?
Hey,
if it's a spy satellite or if it's government issued,
sure.
I mean, is that legal for him to be able to release all those details?
Yeah, if he can observe it. I mean, he didn't steal it directly from the government. If it's just stuff he's drawing up from observations, sure.
Mm-hmm.
There also is another bright object between the solar panels that I interpret as an up and down link antenna, though this also might be something else, he went on to say. Schofbunker continued to explain that the satellite's antenna moved 6 times to the left, 22 times to the right during his observations. Also in his sights was a few KH-11 satellites, which convert light into electronic signals. It's all very interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The KH-11, developed by Lockheed Martin, is believed to use a 7-foot prime mirror that allows the satellites to identify objects as small as 3 inches across. The first KH-11 launched in December of 1976, allowing the first real-time collection of intelligence, as it previously took days or even weeks for photos. The need for real-time observations was often stated by officials during key events like the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Six-Day War, or the invasion of Czechoslovakia. In 2019, President Donald Trump at the time shared a classified image of an Iranian rocket launch site captured by a KH-11 that launched in 2011. There are 4 of these satellites in orbit. The oldest one currently up there was launched in 2005. It's a 3rd-generation KH-11 with the name USA-186. The next 2 are called USA-224 and USA-245, and these are the 4th generation from 2011 and 2013, according to Schofbunker. The newest one is a 5th generation spacecraft from 2021 and is called USA 314. The numbering system's a little random, but I think you get the idea. His observations suggested that they were about 36 feet long, with mirrors ranging in size depending on one generation. It kind of goes on and on, tells you a little bit about, not necessarily what they do, but just kind of how they're numbered and stuff like that. It says, based on the observations, he determined that the spacecraft featured a 16-foot long panel. It had a total size of around 31 feet. The USA 290 also captures intelligence in real time. But that is all that's known about America's secretive spy satellite. It's interesting that a complete random civilian gathered all this just by observation. Incredibly interesting. I don't know how spy-like it is to be able to read all that and gather all that just by some astute observation. It's kind of scary, to be honest.
Well, and you also mentioned that he thought it could be, didn't he say also drug lord related in the very beginning of your article?
It can be used for that.
So imagine if he's leaking that information, and it does have to do with
drug dealers and crime lords.
Yeah. Hello, they'll be knocking on his door.
Yeah. Well, if he has an idea that it can be used for international terrorists, drug dealers, and crime lords, well, he's opened up a whole new business, hasn't he? Yeah. I mean, if they're looking to get away from the U.S. government, well, and he's he thinks he has the inside knowledge on these spy satellites. He must also have the inside knowledge on how to jam these things. Maybe.
You better pay for that extra deal with the Ring camera.
Right.
Upgrade his system.
That's right.
Because that's going to prevent from them taking them.
Well, I wonder how long it's going to be, too, before he gets a call from the U.S. government saying, you know what, you were a little too loose with the lips to the Daily Mail. Maybe we can figure out a way to make a deal for you to be quiet.
I like money.
Yeah. Well, it may be a little bit of a forced quiet, too.
Like he disappears.
I don't know about disappearing. I don't think they make him disappear anymore, but I think
anymore.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, in this day and time, you can't make him fully disappear.
Wait, you said he's from Austria, right?
Yeah. But
maybe they do things different over there.
I think we have some reciprocity with Austria. There's, there's a treaty there. So, he's not completely safe. So I think, the Austrian government may make a deal where they pull him in and we get to interview him and say, maybe you ought to go a little easy on the whole, here's what they do and here's, just saying.
Or maybe he develops quote unquote flu, like symptoms like P. Diddy's victims, where they're
they
saying
take him in for a drink.
Well, no, but there's several people. The book has come out or pages have been released. I don't know if they're true or not.
Like Havana
from
syndrome?
His ex-girlfriend. But yeah, they supposedly died of flu-like symptoms.
Oh, you mean... Oh,
that were associated with P. Diddy. Mm-hmm.
Well, Havana syndrome's supposedly a thing, and supposedly not only does Cuba know how to operate the system, but the U.S. knows how to operate it as well.
Yeah, so you never know.
I'd be real careful if I were him.
Mm-hmm.
It takes nothing for him to develop a weird sickness, because you're right, Mallie. For him, all of a sudden he's not feeling right, and because he's spilling secrets of the U.S.
They've taken down more powerful people than him.
That's
just
true.
Saying.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
Whole new conspiracy theory.
That's right. I don't know that I'd be spilling all these secrets about satellites and stuff like that. Our next story has to do with improvements in asteroid detection and how it could save us from catastrophe. Well, evidently not now that this guy is spilling satellite secrets. I don't know. I don't know. Astronomers are getting better and better at detecting asteroids, and this could one day save us all. This is one of those articles where it's from the perspective of one astronomer, but a man by the name of Daniel Brown has put out an article. He says that on September 4th of 2024, astronomers discovered an asteroid 1 meter in diameter heading towards Earth. The space rock would burn up harmlessly in the atmosphere near the Philippines later that day, that according to officials. Nevertheless, it produced a spectacular fireball that was shared in videos posted on social media. The object known as RW1 was only the 9th asteroid to be spotted before impact. But what of much bigger, more dangerous asteroids? Would our warning system be able to detect all the asteroids that are capable of threatening us on the ground? Asteroid impacts have influenced everybody in the solar system. They shape their appearance alter their chemical abundance. And in the case of our own planet, at the very least, they help kickstart the formation of life. But these same events can also disrupt ecosystems, wiping out life as they did 66 million years ago, when a 10-kilometer space rock contributed to the extinction of the dinosaurs, excluding birds, however. They were evidently able to fly around it. Who knew?
Apparently.
Right. Asteroids are the material left over from the formation of our solar system that was not incorporated into planets and moons. They come in all shapes and sizes. Their paths are determined by gravity and can, to some extent, be predicted. Of particular interest are the objects that are close to Earth's orbit, called near-Earth objects, or NEOs. As of September 2024, we know of approximately 36,000 such objects, ranging in size from several meters to a few kilometers. That's a lot of stuff flying near Earth. 36,000 near-Earth objects. You know, if I were to think about that before bed every night, I'd never sleep.
Nope. Would you want to know if one is like coming towards Earth, or would you rather just be oblivious to it and just pray that the government or somebody could shoot it down before it hits?
I want to be blissfully unaware.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't want to know if we're coming to the end. I really don't. Statistical models predict nearly 1 billion such objects should exist, and we only know of very few of them, Mallie. There's 1 billion of these things out there.
Ugh.
We have been monitoring these asteroids since the 1980s and setting up more detailed surveys of them since the 1990s. The surveys use telescopes to make observations of the entire sky every night and then compare images of the same region on different dates. Astronomers are interested in whether in the same area of the sky something has moved with respect to the stars from one night to another. Anything that has moved could be an asteroid. Observing its positions over a long period allows team members to determine its exact path. This, in turn, enables them to predict where it will be in the future, though such data collection and analysis is a time-consuming process that requires patience. It is made more challenging by the fact that there are more smaller objects out there than bigger ones. Some of these smaller objects are nevertheless of sufficient size to cause damage on Earth, so we still need to monitor them. They are also reasonably faint, and therefore harder to see with telescopes. It can be difficult to predict the path of smaller objects long into the future. This is because they have gravitational interactions with all the other objects in the solar system. Even a small gravitational pull on a smaller object can, over time, alter its future orbit in unpredictable ways. Funding is crucial in this effort to detect dangerous asteroids and predict their path. In 2023, NASA allocated US $90 million to hunt for near-Earth objects. There are several missions being developed to detect hazardous objects from space. For example, the Sutter Ultra project in NASA's Near-Earth Object Surveyor infrared telescope mission. There are even space missions to explore realistic scenarios for altering the paths of asteroids, such as the DART mission, kind of like Mallie was mentioning earlier. DART crashed into the asteroid's moon so that scientists could measure the changes in its path. It showed that it was indeed possible in principle, to alter the course of an asteroid by crashing a spacecraft into it, but we're still far from a concrete solution that could be used in the event of a large asteroid that was really threatening Earth. I think it's kind of science fiction and kind of like along the means of Armageddon, the movie, to take a nuke and put it into an asteroid. I don't think that's a solid solution yet, at least according to this article. Detection programs can create a huge amount of image data every day, which is challenging for astronomers to work through quickly. However, AI could help. Advanced algorithms could automate the process to a greater degree. Citizen science projects can also open up the task of sorting through data to the public. Our current efforts are working, as demonstrated by the detection of the relatively small asteroid RW1. It was only discovered briefly before it struck Earth, but gives us hope that we are on the right track. Asteroids less than 25 meters in diameter generally burn up before they can cause any damage, but objects of 25 to 1,000 meters in diameter are large enough to get through our atmosphere and cause localized damage. The extent of this damage depends upon the properties of the object and the area where it will hit, but an asteroid of 140 meters in size could cause widespread destruction if it hits a city. Luckily, collisions with asteroids in this size range are less frequent than for smaller objects. A 140-meter diameter object should hit Earth every 2,000 years.
Well, hopefully this isn't the 2000th year.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, right? Have we counted?
Calculations. Let's see here.
Right. Have we counted? Do we know the last time? It says here, as of 2003, statistical models suggest that we know of 38% of all existing near-Earth objects with a size of 140 meters or larger. With the new U.S. Vera Rubin 8.5 millimeter telescope, we hope to increase this fraction to roughly 60% by 2005. NASA's NEO Survey infrared telescope could identify 76% of asteroids 140 meters in size or bigger by 2027. So we won't know until then about 76% of those sizes.
Yeah.
That's not very...
Between meteors and space junk, we're screwed.
Right.
Something's going to fall. I feel like Chicken Little. Yeah. Something's going to fall from the sky.
The sky will be falling.
Yep.
Asteroids larger than 1 kilometer in size have the ability to cause damage on a global scale, similar to the one that, as if I didn't make this any more cheery for you, similar to the one that helped to wipe out the dinosaurs. These asteroids are much rarer but easier to spot. Since 2011, we think we have detected 98% of those objects. So at least we're on track with those. So sleep easy, America.
Oh, Lordy.
Less comforting is the fact that we have no current realistic proposal for diverting its path. Though missions like DART are a start, we might eventually be able to compile a near complete list of all possible asteroids that could cause global impacts on Earth. It's much less likely that we'll ever detect every object that could cause localized damage on Earth, such as destroying a city. We can only continue to monitor what's out there, creating a warning system that will allow us to prepare and react. So, as far as saving everybody, maybe not. So pick your favorite city to destroy and aim it that way. That's all I got to say.
Far away from me, please.
That's right. We don't want to destroy anything on the mitten.
No, exactly.
Yeah, but probably, I don't know, Poughkeepsie is a good target. I don't know. I don't know anybody in Poughkeepsie, so. Watch us get emails from Poughkeepsie. No.
Right.
I'm in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. Antarctica or something that's less populated.
There you go. Now watch us get emails from Antarctica. We probably have a few
the
listeners.
Scientists.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you? We're here. We're keeping track of the thing. You can't win, Mel. You just can't win.
No, I can't.
Yep.
Can't please everyone.
The globe has gotten smaller with the internet, so everybody will have their 2 cents to chip in, I'm sure. Our next story has to do with Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse. Have you watched the show on Netflix?
No, I have not.
Well, it's going to have another season, so you'll get a chance to.
Okay.
Yeah. The author and researcher will be delving once again into the world of alternative history. Now, back in 2022, Hancock, a somewhat divisive figure in the world of archaeology, hosted a show for Netflix entitled Ancient Apocalypse, in which he investigated the possibility that an ancient human civilization existed during the last ice age and was destroyed in some sort of chaotic event. In each episode, he visited various archaeological sites around the world in search of clues pointing to the existence of this civilization and the disaster that he believes brought about its demise. While the show proved popular with audiences, other archaeologists and experts widely dismissed well, I should say other archaeologists and experts, there's a comma there, and experts widely dismissed Hancock's conclusions as pseudo-archaeology that could be easily disproven. Well, that makes for a good show then. I mean, you got controversy, right?
Or they don't want to lose their grants.
True. Nonetheless, this week, Netflix unveiled a trailer for Ancient Apocalypse, The Americas, which is the second season of the show, which will this time focus on sites in North and South America. Surprisingly, Hollywood actor Keanu Reeves will be joining Hancock now and again throughout the series.
I like him.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Actually, I think I remember Keanu talking about this on a talk show.
Now I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, I think it was Stephen Colbert that he was talking about.
Okay.
Being on the show. He'll be joining Hancock now and again throughout the series to discuss various topics, including the importance of storytelling and preserving culture throughout the ages. Hancock went on to say, exploring the mysterious origins of civilization has been my passion for many years. The Americas have remained largely unexplored in this context, and my purpose in the series was to examine compelling new evidence that I hope might spark healthy debate in the archaeology community. The show's second season will debut on Netflix on October 16th. Known as a disruptor who challenges traditional ideas about this period of history, Graham uses his skills as a journalist to talk to experts and indigenous communities to put his theory to the test, said Ian Russell of ITN Productions. The trailer's out there on YouTube. It looks pretty impressive. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be
it sounds
a good
good.
show. Yeah, we'll see if we can manipulate somebody to get on this show to talk about.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Yeah. All right. And our final story before we go to break today, Mallie, is this. We talked about flying saucers earlier and how they may not be what you think they are, especially that one over China. Well, here's this story. This flying saucer is the real deal. Notice the air quotes, but it's probably not what you think. A Vietnamese inventor has come up with what has to be one of the most unique vehicles ever seen. I'll show you a picture of it. Notice where it is, though, if you take a close look.
Is that on a river or a lake?
Yes, it is. It's not in the sky, right? If you ever happen to see this thing careening toward you, you might be forgiven for thinking that aliens have landed. That is, at least until you notice that it can only move on water, as Mallie pointed out. Is
it a little cover for a speedboat?
It's a bitchin' boat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Invented and developed by Vietnamese inventor Trong Long Ho. I'm jealous of his name. This unique UFO-shaped vehicle is actually a jet boat that has been painstakingly made to look like a flying saucer. I love it. The process of designing and building the boat is surprisingly simple, using techniques such as sculpting a basic mold shape out of sand and creating the hull from fiberglass and epoxy. The completed vehicle is capable of reaching top speed around 31 miles per hour. It's pretty fast for a boat. Yeah. I mean, not fast. It's not a speedboat, but you don't want a flying saucer to take off the water and take off and hit the sky, right? So you want
Or do you?
Well, it might be kind of cool, but people might think that they're seeing a USO as it's coming out of the water, right? In a video published on Trang Long Ho's channel, the inventor can be seen painstakingly putting his creation together before putting his foot down on a local waterway to test it out. The design is particularly impressive, and he finished the UFO-shaped hull in practically seamless time. I'll tell you what, we'll post this one as well in the description of the show so you can watch the video, because it's pretty cool. I'll just tell you that. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like a UFO boat. I won't lie. My dad could never fish off of it, but...
Unless he did little hatch thing on the top, kind of pop out.
But if he did, I'll tell you what I would do if he, because there is a hatch to it. And in fact, I'll show you on the video here, on the video tease screen. See the little hatch, Mal?
Oh, yeah, at the very top. Okay.
Yeah, there's a little
Oh,
opening.
I thought it was bigger.
No,
but
no,
now
no.
that it's compared to the guy,
Yeah,
it's smaller than I thought.
It's tiny. It's like a 1 or 2 seater, right?
Yeah, no, I thought it was larger than that.
No.
Okay.
It's tiny. So what I would do is I would have the old man like stick his head out of it and throw a rod out. But at the same time, I would have him scream, "They're anal probing me." Yeah. So it would be, it'd be a fun day on the lake.
Right.
Take it out to Mille Lacs or something like that. Can you see that thing trying to survive the chop of Mille Lacs or even Lake Michigan? That thing would just be bouncing up and down.
Yep.
Yeah. You wouldn't stand a chance. You really wouldn't. All right. When we come back, Mal, interesting story for our AI segment today. The city of San Francisco has filed a landmark deepfake lawsuit. We have an audio daily double today.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Things are about to get interesting in the AI world, that's for sure. And then later on in the program, we've got two Loch Ness Monster stories. Minnesota has a monster of its own we'll talk about. And I'm trying to remember. I think we have a Parashare story today too. So we'll jump into a Parashare story today as well. So we've got lots of stuff on hand today. So we'll tackle it all when we come back. Right here on Supernatural News and Parashare. It's a Wednesday right here on the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Darkness Radio. On a Wednesday, it's a Supernatural News Wednesday. Tim Dennis and Mallie Fox with you. Mallie, it's so gorgeous outside. It is so gorgeous outside. I tell you what, yesterday it was so nice outside. I actually took time to pick up empty peanut shells out of mulch. You're old when you spend time outside picking up empty peanut shells out of mulch.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but you basically said the thing I was thinking.
Because it's nice outside. When you're younger, you go throw a football around when it's nice outside. You throw a baseball around, or you go out and you hang out with your friends, or you go for walks, or I picked up empty peanut shells out of mulch because it was nice outside. That's something my grandfather did.
Yep.
Is it time for me to get my AARP card?
Hey, I have mine.
Do you?
Yeah. Once I turned 50 and I was getting the mailings, I was like, let's do this. But you know what's funny is I have not saved any money because the few times that I've tried to use it for like hotels, it was cheaper just to do the normal hotel than it was to add the AARP. So I pay my $12 a year. Yeah. And I play my word swipe game on the website. But that's all it's good for. I'm sure that, if I actually took the time, I would probably use it for other things. But the couple times I've tried to use it for like New York and stuff, no, it was more expensive to use my AARP for the hotel.
By the way, my nephew's getting married this weekend.
Aww.
Boy, do I
Derek's nephew's getting married this weekend as well.
Really? Well, congratulations.
It's a weekend of love.
I know. Congratulations to Derek's nephew. I just think of it.
Wait, not nephew. Sorry, cousin.
Or cousin.
Godson.
Godson.
There we go.
Well, congratulations to Derek's godson. I remember Tyler when we started this show.
Wait, it's Tyler?
It's Tyler.
Wow. The one that went to St. Thomas, correct?
No. Drew went to St. Thomas.
Oh, Drew. Got him mixed up. Sorry.
But Drew is 27 now.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Tyler is 24? No, 23, 24?
Wow.
Yeah. He was 6 when we started the 6 when we
I remember you
talking
about him.
Yeah, he was 6 when we started the show.
Wow.
It just, now he's a grown man. He's got his own business. And by the way, I'll start promoting his business here in a few weeks. He does HVAC. He does all this different stuff. He's also a handyman. Does anything you can do around the house. He lays flooring. He's such an ingenious young man. He really is. Handy. He's so handy. I mean, he's helped me out with so much stuff around the house. Remodeled a bunch of stuff around the house. Helped me with my studios.
Okay.
But but I just, I remember him as a little guy, and it's, I mean, time moves and it moves so fast, but it's, I haven't had a hard time with it at all, but it's just to think that this major milestone is coming up this weekend. I'm how you try not to think about it,
Yeah.
Try not to think about it.
Are you going to get teary-eyed at the wedding?
Try not to get teary-eyed now.
Aww.
But big weekend.
Very cool.
Big weekend.
Aww.
So.
Do you like his wife or his future wife?
Oh, love her. Yeah.
Love her?
Yeah.
Aww. I guess I shouldn't have asked that question on air.
No,
if you didn't like her.
Oh, yeah. No, hate her. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Hate her.
No.
We'll delete this later.
Maya is wonderful. She's wonderful.
Oh,
that's
a pretty name.
Yeah, she works for Target. So.
Okay.
And she trains people for Target. So
Very cool.
Yeah, she rotates between stores and I got to tell you the funniest story. Speaking about getting old, right? So, by the way, I have some good news as well as far as my foot goes, my Charcot foot, that I haven't told people yet.
Very cool.
Publicly. And then I'll shut up and we can get on with supernatural news. So I'm at Target, one of the stores that she rotates to, because she rotates all over the Twin Cities area. And you're having a senior moment when you're just getting old. When I go to this Target over by my doctor every week, I pick up fresh produce, right? And mainly for me and the chippers. So I pick up fresh blueberries. And I picked up blueberries for us after I went to the doctor. And I said, oh, yeah, my nephew's getting married next weekend, because the cashier had asked me what's going on. I said, oh, nothing much this weekend. I'm just reading. And, but I said, reading, sitting out with the chippers. But I said, but next weekend, my nephew's getting married. I said, in fact, my niece works here at Target. She floats between stores and she trains. And they're, oh, yeah, what's her name? And I went, her name is... what is her name? I stood there, Mallie, for 3.5 minutes and couldn't think of her name.
Oh.
Tyler and Maya have been dating since they were in high school.
Oh.
I couldn't think of her name.
I go through that all the time.
This is the first time this has ever happened to me.
Oh, no, you should saw me at my family reunion last week. Oh. I was having name farts all the time.
I was blanking. And I went, dark hair. And I'm doing this to the cashier.
It's like charades, but verbal charades.
Right.
Describing her, what she does, her background, how many siblings she has.
I said, she comes and she trains you guys, she dark hair, and she's about
because the hand movements help.
Right, yeah, because, as you start to, and I'm like drawing out her figure,
right.
I mean, it's stupid. And the guy goes, what's your nephew's name? And I go, Tyler. Oh. And I went, Maya. And it just, the minute I said Tyler, because you know how you put couples together?
Right.
If I say his name, her name will follow. It was so stupid. I said, Tyler, Maya. And he goes, Maya's getting married? And at that moment, I went, oh, shit.
Oh, someone wasn't invited.
Right. Well, it's not like she invited everybody at work, right?
Right.
But on top of that, it was like, well, maybe, and then, right, like my mind goes to True Crime Tuesday, right? And I'm thinking, what if this guy is like a stalker? I'm like,
ooh,
shit. Right? And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Sorry, Maya. And I'm like, this would be awkward. I probably shouldn't tell her this at the wedding. Right? So this is like bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I should shut my mouth. Yeah. So I was like, oh boy, awkward moment. I'm like, so wedding next weekend, gotta go. And I grabbed my stuff and left. So I left very quickly.
Well, hello. I just called my husband's godson, his nephew. So there we go. Senior moment.
There you go. Well, but they're kind of one and the same. So
kinda. Well, I mean, he's younger and whatever. But yeah. Oh, let me tell you about my senior moment. It takes 2 seconds.
Yes.
I was going through pictures the other day because I was looking for something specific. And I was like, why do I have all these pictures of labels? Because when I go to the store, I don't have my readers. Mm-hmm. I'm taking photos of the labels, the backside, and then enlarging them so that I can read. And I had several pictures of labels on my phone because I didn't bring my glasses.
No, that is a senior deal. I mean, one of the nice things about having lost weight and getting my sugars down is my bifocals don't work anymore. I have to get new glasses because
so your vision's getting better, yeah.
Yeah, my vision's getting better and my bifocals don't work anymore. So you'll see me do a lot of this on video. Because you got
to do that mouth thing too.
Yeah, because I can't read properly and I'm enlarging things on my screen because right. Yeah, so the other thing about getting better. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm in Dr. Schuster's office, my podiatrist.
Okay.
And he says to me, his foot's really getting better. And I'm like, okay. And I've been in for the last. In fact, when you saw me at Michigan Paracon, I was in my brace and my tennis shoe. Mm-hmm. But I also
you'd lost a lot of weight.
I've lost about 45 pounds.
Yeah.
But I was also in a soft cast underneath the brace.
Okay.
And I've been in some sort of cast for the last 4 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. Whether it be a hard cast or a soft cast underneath this brace. So he looks at me and he goes, I think it's time. I said, time for what? He goes, I think it's time to see if we can do this without a soft cast under your brace. Just the brace. Mm-hmm. And I went, ooh, I don't know. Because what can happen is the foot can rub in the brace and you can develop a wound.
Right.
I'm like, that's kind of a big step, Doc. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, it is, but let's try it. I said, okay. He goes, no, what we'll do is we'll put a couple of these little Primapore bandages over the Charcot bump, and then you'll wear 2 socks under the brace, I said, okay. And I was nervous. I was real nervous, right?
Right.
So I did it for a week. Last Friday, I went in, and he took off and mind you, I've been taking good care of it. You clean it daily and everything, and you put bandages on, and it looked, other than a little bit of soft tissue swelling, which is bound to happen because it's a new, you're pretty padded in that soft cast, so you don't get any swelling, right? Mm-hmm. But other than a little bit of minor swelling, because you're getting used to the brace, there's nothing wrong. Nothing happened. So he takes it off. He looks at it and he goes, "It looks wonderful." He goes, "Congratulations, you passed."
Yay!
So I'm at a new point in life where I'm just wearing the brace and the tennis shoe. No more casts. So this is the new norm.
Now, do you find yourself like babying it though?
Yeah.
Because I would.
Yeah, I'm still very.
I would be afraid to hurt it.
Still very careful.
Okay.
Still very careful. I'm not doing much as far as, I haven't started up DDP yoga or anything again yet, or anything like that. So I'm just being careful on it for the next couple of weeks, and then I'll start my normal routine again. But the other thing that was interesting is he looked at me and he said, okay, I don't have to see you for 3 weeks now because there isn't any callus to scrape off. And I went, whoa, what? And I said, we can't do this. We've seen each other every week for the last 5 to 7 years.
You've developed feelings for your doctor.
Well, we've had this relationship. We see each other every week. We talk. He asked me what's going on with the show. I mean, we have this friendship, right? And I'm like, I said, no, we have to see each other next week. I'm like, I'm the one who scheduled the appointment. And he's like, well, if you want, we could see each other next week. But he said, then I think we can go 2 weeks without seeing each other. And I'm like, are we breaking up?
He's breaking up with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't feel right. I almost feel abandoned. I feel... Oh!
It's not you. It's him.
It's him.
Yeah, see, it's not you. It's him.
That's where AI comes in to ruin my day. Oh, Mel. But that good news, and then AI comes in to ruin my day. See how it works?
Yeah. AI.
Yeah. Well, we do have some interesting AI stories today, Mel.
Okay.
This first one is an audio daily double. And it has to do with the city of San Francisco cracking down on deepfake websites. The city of San Francisco has filed a lawsuit aimed at shutting down websites that employ artificial intelligence to let users create nude images of people. The effort to combat so-called deepfakes is the first one of its kind in the country. Now, NBC's Savannah Sellers has this report. Let's go to it now.
How was the math test?
Yvonne Mede's first priority is being a mom. So a particular New York Times article shocked her.
All about a 15-year-old girl whose life had been devastated by a non-consensual image of her that was nude.
That image was what's known as a deep fake, a picture that may be created with a real face, but using artificial intelligence to make a fake body.
When I read it, my own daughter, who's now 16, I thought to myself, this would be horrible.
Mede happens to be in a position to do something about it. In addition to being a mom, she's a top litigator in the San Francisco City Attorney's Office. She shared the article with her colleague, fellow mom and lawyer, Sarah Eisenberg.
How does this work?
So there's a lot of different ways. I can take a picture of anyone, anytime.
You can take a picture of a girl going to prom.
I can grab it off of her social media page without her even knowing that I have taken it. Go to any number of these websites that are out there and just upload that picture, and it will use artificial intelligence to undress that person.
Mede and Eisenberg's boss, City Attorney David Chu, gave them the go-ahead to pursue legal action against the practice. They say it resulted in a first-of-its-kind lawsuit naming 16 top websites that create and distribute fake nude images of women and girls without consent.
What we found truly horrified us. There have been over 200 million visitors in just these 16 websites alone.
What do you understand that impact to be?
We know that these images have been used to bully, humiliate, and threaten women and girls. The impact on these victims cannot be underestimated.
Those victims range from massive superstars to high school girls across the country. The suit alleges the practice is not just harmful, it's illegal. They argue even the marketing used by the websites obliterates any notion of consent, pointing out one defendant's advertising. Imagine wasting time taking her out on dates when you can just use the website to get her nudes. Contact information for most of the companies named in the lawsuit could not be found.
They have violated deepfake pornography laws, child pornography laws.
Do you really think there's a chance you can get these websites shut down?
Absolutely. I don't think there's anyone who defends what is happening here. We're talking about everyday people who are seeing their faces turned into pornography and, in too many instances, child pornography.
For Mede and Eisenberg, it's a labor of love, both for their constituents and a little closer to home.
You want to make a difference. You want to look back. I get choked up, like you want to make a difference. This makes a difference.
Do you think about your daughter when you feel that way?
I do. I think about my daughter and I want her to be proud of me. I want her to be proud of what the office does.
Savannah Sellers, NBC News, San Francisco.
Interesting story.
Very scary.
Yeah, yeah. But the fact that there's actually a city that's doing something about it is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's about time.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that it's a municipality that's starting and doing something about it. It's not the federal government. It's not the federal level that's taking it on. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's the local level that's starting is fascinating in itself. So,
I mean, teens already have a hard enough time with cyberbullying, let alone if someone can do AI and make it look like them, and then where everyone thinks it is them naked.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody, but I mean, teens especially. But geez Louise.
It's, what's disturbing, Mallie, is there are apps that you can go get that will do this for you, that you pay for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That you can take anybody and you can strip them down and make your own deepfake, your own nude deepfake. It's so disgusting and so disturbing that you can do this, and you can do it with anybody. You don't have to be a celebrity to do it. You could anybody you wish or want to imagine. And it's such a violation. Mm-hmm. It's a disgusting violation of someone's privacy. And I don't know what gives people the right to think that they can do that to someone.
Right.
I
mean, I had a hard time when I was the victim of catfishing. You know what I mean? Where someone took my pictures and set up a profile and everything and then was going on dates.
Yeah.
Or not dates, but it was, what's that dating app? Match.com, where they did that. And we had a listener that was like, hey, are you on Match.com? I'm like, no. And then I had to go through the whole, kit and caboodle about canceling the account, but I felt kind of violated, and it was not to this extreme.
Right. Well, I mean, I can't, again, I'm a male, I can't imagine. But I can't imagine what it's like for a female, for a woman to see their face put on a body, and then have it be thrown out there.
Yeah.
And to have their reputation dragged through the mud.
And not a lot of people have money to try and sue these large corporations.
Right.
For taking their likeness or their... Yeah.
Right. And imagine you're, maybe you haven't even entered the workforce yet. Someone who's a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You haven't even started life yet. You're in school. And you know how I don't want to use the word delicate or tender or anything like that, but just how what's the word I'm looking for here, Mal? It's, how sensitive everything is,
Right.
As we grow to be adults, we're able to let things bounce off of us a little bit, or we have a little bit of a hardened shell. But man, when you're a teenager, everything is amplified by 10.
Yeah.
And you'd just be mortified to see something like that. The stuff that teenagers can do to each other these days is just awful.
Oh, yeah. Like the girls or guys that are, what do you call it, sexting or whatever, and then the other person lets it out there for all the friends to see, and then they're humiliated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or their pics or their whatever, because they don't realize that stuff doesn't disappear.
No. Everything digital is so permanent these days. And it's thrown around so casually, right? And there's no such thing as privacy in today's world.
No.
But yet there's supposed to be a modicum of privacy between two people, right? Especially in a relationship. But it doesn't feel like there's that privacy there between anybody.
Right.
These days. And it feels like relationships are much more casual these days as well.
Yes.
It just seems like people want to try on other people like shoes, in this day and
like
age.
the Love Island shows, all those reality shows where they're making out with people left and right.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like people give people a chance, right?
Right.
Or try to get to know them these days. It just, it seems like everything's so surface, and it's kind of sickening.
Well, and back in our day, I just remember if you had somebody that slept around, they did not have a nice name.
True.
They did not have a good reputation.
True.
And nowadays, it's nothing.
Yeah.
They take almost pride that, oh yeah, I've slept with 300 people.
Yeah. Well, we were talking yesterday on True Crime Tuesday about the girl in Australia who's trying to sleep with 600 people this year.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. I mean, and then she says, "Oh,
you better
no,
start stretching."
I think she has. She's up to 400 so far this year.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. And then she says she's supposed to average 1.6 people per day, but she says, "Oh no, I take a few days off, and and then I nail 5 at a time, right?" And it's like,
Jesus.
Right. And I kind of went on a little bit of a tirade yesterday. Some people may agree with it, some people may not. But the one thing that got me was, she goes, "Oh no, my dad's okay with it. I kind of sprung it on him, but he's okay with it." In other words, she forced her dad into being okay with it. I don't think he's okay with it. I mean,
no, he's not. No father would be proud of their daughter for sleeping with 400 people in a year so far.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, well, I told my dad about this OnlyFans, and he's supportive." Well, no, because you sprung it on him. Do you think your dad's Australian? He probably goes down and has a few pints at the pub, right?
Right.
Do you think your dad can show his face at the pub?
Yeah.
I don't think he can. Because he goes down there and every guy is probably like, "Hey, can I get your daughter's number?"
Yeah.
He can't do that.
But then he's probably also blown away by how much money she's making on OnlyFans. They make a crap ton.
Well, here's the thing is off of this stunt alone, this, sleeping with 600 guys in 1 year or people, it was people. So it could be either or.
Right.
She's supposedly going to make $3 to $4 million off that alone.
Jeez Louise. But what about her health? What if she catches something really nasty?
Right.
Is that money worth it?
There you go. But they didn't say whether she's, if she's going to buy the parents a house or if she's going to do anything to help them out of all the mental pain and torture she's putting them through.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She's probably not doing anything for them.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Is it worth it? And it's only, put it this way, Mel, it's only $3 to $4 million.
Right.
And it's 600 people and you're playing Russian roulette with your health.
Yeah.
So, and what are you going to tell your grandkids? Grandma nailed 600 guys in a year. Aren't you proud?
She's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Right. And then I put it in perspective with Jessica yesterday. I said this. I said, well, do you remember the Houston 500?
The what?
The Houston 500? For those,
I don't know what that is.
For those porn aficionados out there, there was a porn star named Houston. This was quite a few years ago. This is probably, 20, 30 years ago now, maybe more.
Okay.
Who did 500 guys in one shot.
Oh, my God.
Where she had to ice herself down multiple times.
Ugh.
She did 501 shots. 600 in a year is nothing, sweetheart.
Jeez Louise.
So
that's just gross.
So what's the big deal?
Maybe she doesn't have self-love.
I think
she's missing something where this is just fine with her.
I think there's going to be some therapy bills at the end of this deal.
Jeez Louise.
So
there goes her $4 million.
I don't know how yeah, exactly. There goes your $4 million. I don't know how we got on the subject again. I don't know. I was done with this yesterday, but yeah, okay. So the deep fake thing. So we get back to the deep fake thing. I see I'm getting old. I'm getting on tangents again. But I guess my thing is it just seems like as a society, I'm not even going to pick on an age group. As a society, we're getting meaner and meaner to each other.
Yeah.
And it seems we need to be more caring about each other is what we need to be, before we start making images of each other and even for our own pleasure, maybe we should be more considerate towards each other. Yeah. It's one thing if somebody puts on an image of themselves for other people's pleasure.
Right.
Okay, that's a business. They've decided to do that. They took that on themselves. That's a business decision. But when you do it against someone's will, that's just sick. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. So there you go. I'm off my soapbox now. Meanwhile, Mallie, we have one more of these stories. A new documentary is out there exploring the world of the first ever human cyborg. That's right. There was a first ever human cyborg. Colorblind artist Neil Harbison became a cyborg when he had an implant fitted that enabled him to hear colors.
Oh.
Which sounds like a trip somebody had on LSD back in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Neil Harbison is the world's first officially recognized human cyborg, having had a device installed in his head to enable him to hear colors in the early 2000s. He's the subject of Cyborg, a documentary, the first full-length film by London-based director Carrie Bourne. The thought-provoking work, which launched in UK cinemas on September 20th, not only chronicles Harbison's unique journey, but also explores the philosophical and ethical questions surrounding human augmentation. Born without the ability to see any colors, the Catalan-born artist's life took an extraordinary turn when he decided to augment his sensory experience. He used an anonymous doctor, having been refused ethical permission by a hospital in Barcelona. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, keep in mind, it was early 2000s.
Right. He
had a sensor surgically implanted in the back of his skull, arcing over his hairline like an insect antenna. It's a little bizarre.
That's weird, yeah.
Via a chip in his head, it translates the light frequencies of colors into sound vibrations, which he experiences through bone conduction, the same process used by whales and dolphins to hear underwater. The film makes no attempt to explore the history of cyborgism, a term coined in the 1960s by the scientists Manfred Clynes and Nathan S. Klein, though it nods to Fritz Lang's 1927 film Metropolis and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein as early progenitors of the concept. Instead, Bourne gently explores Harbison's experiences through conversations with him and his close friend Moon Ribus, interspersed with commentary from other cyborg enthusiasts and the occasional critic. Harbison explains how he came to the idea of augmentation, and it is an augmentation because he can experience infrared and ultraviolet, which are invisible to the rest of us. His system is also internet connected, so he can perceive the colors and images sent by friends from their phones. Now that's a little out there.
Yeah.
He describes how he integrated his new sense, never turning it off, and even started to dream in color. It becomes clear the sound signals aren't just a proxy for colors, but a genuine integrated new ability compared to people with synesthesia, who can do things like tasting sounds or feeling colors. And we actually talked about synesthesia yesterday with our guest, Danielle Trissoni, who writes about it in her new book, The Puzzle Box.
Okay.
To me, color is a new sense which is not visual and it is not auditive. It is a kind of vibration that goes into my skull and becomes a sound. It feels like an independent sense now. The film provides some interesting vignettes on how Harbison uses his enhanced senses. He can choose the color of his clothes, for example, informing unusual fashion choices as he sees color combinations differently from other people. He associates people and even cities with different colors, and also has an interesting line and face reading using his sense to map people's skin colors. People who say they're black, they're usually very dark orange. And people who say they're white, they're usually very light orange. So we are exactly the same, he says. Interesting. Mm-hmm. He, meanwhile, argues that his superhuman abilities make him more aware of health risks than the rest of us. If we could all perceive ultraviolet, there wouldn't be so many people with skin cancer. You wouldn't want to lie down and sunbathe if you could hear the terrible noise it makes.
Ew.
Yikes.
Now I'm thinking of like the sizzling noise you hear when you're frying bacon.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Ugh.
Harbison is not only endlessly enthusiastic about his enhancement, he is at the forefront of a movement of artists similarly interested in acquiring new senses through implants. It all coaxes the viewer to consider some provocative questions. At one point, does technological integration fundamentally alter who we are? Are there ethical boundaries that we should consider? Should we be free to create our own senses? And if so, how would we then share those experiences? Will such choices become commonplace in the near future? It's an interesting deal. So that film is out there right now. They talk about different things as well in this article about cochlear implants for the ear, for instance, that have been used since the 1970s. They talk about people with diabetes who now have implants for real-time blood sugar monitors, receiving instantaneous readouts with their smartphones. I have one of those. Prosthetics are increasingly enhanced by digital controllers. The Neuralink for the brain that is now being used for people who have issues with different disabilities. It's an interesting article. It is. What this guy has done, though, and I have a picture of him right here, Mallie. Take a look at how this thing sticks out of his head.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
It's like those aliens that you see that have that thing that stick out with the eyeball at the end of it.
Yeah. It's like a mantis antenna almost.
Yeah. Well, his haircut doesn't help.
No. He's got a very weird page boy haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
very interesting, though.
It is, isn't it?
Huh.
I wonder what happens if he's at the barber and they snip that thing off.
Ooh.
Just saying. I mean, it's obvious he does the bowl cut himself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if he pays money for that, he needs a refund.
He does have the Moe haircut from Three Stooges. Yeah. It's obvious he does that himself. So.
Yeah.
Or somebody does it for him. And it's a Floby haircut. It's not a
Floby. I remember that.
Yes. It definitely is not. It's definitely not a barber haircut.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Let's move on, shall we? The next three stories we have to do with being buried. Yes.
Did you ever see that movie Buried?
I'm trying to remember if I have or not.
With Ryan Reynolds?
I think I have. I
have a fear of small spaces, so I would not do well.
I do too. The whole somebody sent me the email the other day about the movie. It was from 2018, was it? Where they're buried alive and they ring the bell and they're being yeah. We're going to talk about graves, ancient graves, current graves, and some things that have been found in graves this past week. The first one has to do with a revenant buried under large rocks. It was to stop him from rising from the grave.
Okay.
Interesting little find in an ancient grave. Archaeologists discovered that the man had been buried with several large stones placed on his chest. They didn't want him going anywhere. That's for sure. The eerie grave was one of several discovered at a gallows site near the German town of, I believe it is Quedlinburg in the state of Saxony-Anhalt, and is believed to date back to the 17th century. At the time, there was a great deal of concern among the people that, under certain circumstances, the bodies of the dead could rise again from the grave as a revenant to haunt the living. To prevent this, the large rocks would be placed on top of the bodies to stop them from moving. Other methods include spraying the bodies with incense, binding the arms and legs together, and placing wooden crosses on the graves. These were people who possibly died an early death or a sudden death without confession or absolution, archaeologist Marita Genesis told Live Science. It was a fear that they might return to the realm of the living, so various measures were taken to prevent the deceased from doing so. Although the skeleton of the deceased man, in this case, showed no signs of injuries, it is possible that he was executed at the gallows, either by hanging or drowning. Other remains were found at the site in 16 individual graves and a number of other bone pits. People were usually buried lovelessly in the ground like animal carcasses without any sympathy or care, said Genesis. Suffice to say, this would have been a very gruesome place. I have a picture here too, Mal, of what this gravesite looked like.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that big stone.
Yeah.
That's something to behold. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ways some of
do
these...
that to some of my exes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'd enjoy that. Yeah.
You're not coming back.
That's right. You're not coming back in this life or the next.
Yeah.
The next one is an interesting one that I read about earlier in the week. A mystery surrounds a coffin found under Notre Dame, and it's been solved. Did you hear about this?
I think I did when they first discovered it, but now I'm questioning myself.
Back in 2022, 2 lead coffins were discovered beneath the cathedral during restoration works at the site. If you remember, Notre Dame burned down a few years ago. These 2 coffins were found, and they decided to do some work on them. The iconic Parisian Cathedral of Notre Dame, which was badly damaged in a devastating fire back in, it was 2019 already.
Wow.
You believe that? 5 years already? Gave up one of its long-hidden secrets a couple of years ago when restoration workers unearthed 2 mysterious lead coffins that had been hidden deep underneath it. The occupants, it turns out, were both wealthy men. The first was identified from a plate on one coffin itself was Antoine de la Porte, an 83-year-old member of the clergy responsible for the cathedral who died on December 24th of 1710. He was old. Mm-hmm. I think that's been established. He was old now. The other man, however, had remained something of a mystery because there was no accompanying plate on his coffin. An examination of his remains suggested that he was between 25 and 40 when he died, and that he had lost all of his teeth in the years prior to his death, indicating that he likely succumbed to tuberculosis. Now, 2 years on, researchers have finally solved the mystery of who the man was. In all likelihood, he was Joachim de Bellay, a celebrated French poet who had died in Paris in 1560 at the age of 37. 37 and didn't have all his teeth.
I wonder why he wanted to be buried in the cathedral, though. And how much money did he donate to be able to be buried in the cathedral?
Well, if he was a celebrated French poet, he probably had prestige and money. Mm-hmm. So he was probably highly celebrated in the church and belonged there as a dignitary.
But not to have like a grave plaque or anything. I mean, that's kind of unless he paid someone on the low and they just kind of snuck him in there.
Well, I mean, if he dedicated, well, let's find out here. It says, born in 1522, Bellay was the co-founder of a circle of poets known as La Pléiade, and records show that he was buried somewhere in Notre Dame after serving as a minor clerical official there.
Oh, okay. So they are aware that he was buried there. They just weren't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was meant to be buried there.
Okay.
It is thought that his body may have been removed from the cathedral's side chapel to a more prominent location after his works became more famous following his death.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was moved to a more prominent location. They probably just forgot to mark it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Even today, Bellay is a well-known figure in France, and his poems are still taught in French schools. So, yeah. It was, again, clerical error. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you go back to the 1700s, there's a lot to be moved around there, that's for sure. Our third one is a watery grave, Mallie. I know you've heard this story, the Titan Submersible. Some more information was found out about it this past week. There's a wreckage photo and a final message that was found out about the Titan Submersible this week. Investigators with the U.S. Coast Guard have provided new details about the Titan sub disaster. Back on June 18th of 2023, the undersea exploration vehicle, which was carrying 5 passengers, including Stockton Rush, who's the CEO of OceanGate Expeditions, which was running the operation, disappeared after embarking on a trip to the wreck of the Titanic, which was situated 12,500 feet beneath the sea. What followed was a multi-day search by rescue teams alongside extensive global coverage as people around the world waited with bated breath to see if the crew of the submersible could be located. Ultimately, though, the discovery of a debris field a few days later confirmed the worst. The submersible had violently imploded, killing all 5 passengers. At a recent hearing into the disaster, investigators revealed for the first time actual photographs of the wreckage, as well as the crew's final communications. At around 1 hour into the dive, the sub sent a message that said, "All good here." The last communication, sent from a depth of 3,346 meters, indicated that 2 weights had been dropped. According to the investigators, the hull of the submersible had never been subjected to third-party testing, and the vehicle had been left exposed to the elements while in storage. Oh my gosh. There was also a history of technical issues, 118 of them in total. How do you still take that vehicle?
Oh my God.
Over the course of 13 dives between 2021 and 2022, ranging from battery and thruster failures to the dome falling off after a dive.
Do you think, though, that the clients knew that they were aware that there were so many issues? Or do you think that was hidden?
Nope, it was hidden from them. I think completely hidden from him. Company CEO Stockton Rush, who died in the disaster, was reportedly difficult to work with. Stockton would fight for what he wanted, and even if it changed from day to day, he wouldn't give an inch, said former engineering director Tony Neeson. Most people would eventually back down to Stockton. It was death by 1,000 cuts, he was quoted as saying.
Selfish man.
It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. When it's your life you're taking into your hands.
When it's other people's lives.
Yeah. I don't know how you back down. You know, I mean, you have to treat the ocean like you treat outer space.
Right.
You know, there can't be any flaws whatsoever in your craft when you go underwater.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, 118 of them. I mean, you can't have 118 flaws in your craft and expect to survive. You just can't. It's insanity. Is what it is. It's just insanity. So, all right, we're going to switch it up here, Mallie. We have 3 stories here. 2 of them which deal with Loch Ness. One of them has to deal with a monster having to deal with Minnesota. I'm trying to figure out where my story went with the Minnesota monster. I know I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Here's the Minnesota monster right here. I just had it moved. The Loch Ness stories have to do with 2 different encounters here. Why is this moved all the way over here? Give me just 1 second here. The two different encounters here at Loch Ness, which are very, very interesting. We'll start with one of them. One of them's kind of actually a little eerie. I'm not going to lie. A charity swimmer brushes up against a mystery creature in Loch Ness, which tells me they didn't get a good look. Right? Duncan Roberts had been swimming across the iconic Scottish loch when he encountered something in the water. Now, it's been reported plenty of alleged Loch Ness Monster encounters over the years, but this is perhaps the first time that it's been heard of someone physically bumping into an unknown creature in the water. According to reports, 39-year-old Australian swimmer Duncan Roberts had been participating in a charity swim across the loch's murky waters when he felt something brush up against him. The depth and darkness of that water plays tricks on your minds, he said. There is some weird energy at play in that water. And during my swim, I experienced a bump halfway across. It was something big. The water is pitch black, and I had my eyes closed a lot of the time as the depth and darkness terrified me. So I didn't see anything. I just felt it, a big thud in the chest. During an interview with What's the Jam, he admitted that the possibility of encountering the Loch Ness Monster had crossed his mind. I think anyone who swims in the deep part of the loch is lying if they say they haven't thought about the monster, he said. I was focused on getting across as quickly as possible, so the hit was a shock. I was already nervous about the swim, he continued. As for the identity of the creature that brushed up against him, all we can do is speculate. With that in mind, Mallie, what are the chances he hit Loch Ness Monster?
I would say slim. He probably hit a dead body.
Oh, gosh. You think? A dead body before Loch Ness?
I think so. Or a very large carp.
See, I tend to think carp, sturgeon, bigger fish.
Right.
Eel, right?
Yeah.
Bigger
yeah,
eel.
Those eels can get big. Yeah.
Yeah. Loch Ness Monster, I think maybe a bit of an exaggeration, right? Now, another bit of tourist thumps into the monster. These are canoeists who are out in Loch Ness. Jeff Potts has told about how he was canoeing on Loch Ness with his son when suddenly they felt a massive thump or thumps from an object that he said must have been large as hunters continue to search for that mythical monster. Dad and his son felt thumps on the bottom of their canoes from a big object in the murky depths of Loch Ness. Experienced guide Jeff Potts and his son Chris had the scary encounter on the lake famous for the mythical Loch Ness Monster earlier this month. The pair were paddling in separate canoes on the loch when both of them were hit hard from below. The impact was so sudden it nearly knocked the paddle from Chris's grip. It comes just days after Duncan Roberts was hit in the chest by a mystery creature while crossing the loch. Jeff, who's 53, and Chris, who's 24, have canoed there many times and never had such an encounter before, with the canoe being hit hard from below. Jeff told What's the Jam? They're on top of this stuff, I guess. I guide canoe trips on the Great Glen. I've done around 40 or so in the last few years. A few weeks ago, while I was out with my son Chris, something bumped the canoe hard from below. And when I mentioned it to Chris, he said he hit something with his paddle, which nearly took it out from his hand. I didn't see anything. I just felt a big thump against the bottom of my boat. I've completed around 40 crossings since 2021. That's quite a few, including the first recorded nonstop solo crossing that I'm aware of in an open canoe. He added that the impact felt different to hitting a log. Okay, I'll give him that. Loch Ness has an impressive presence about it. I mean, it's huge, he said. As I've completed it so many times, it was confusing to get a thud which sounded dull. I've hit logs before, but this is not like hitting wood at all. Hitting wood. You would immediately wonder what it was, but the water is so dark you can only see down a foot or so. That's pretty dark. My son Chris has his own business running trips like this, and he's never experienced anything like it either. Duncan Roberts was just as shocked when he was hit from below on his swim. We talked about Duncan in the last story. He said there's some weird energy at play in the water. And during my swim, I experienced a bump halfway across. Now, underwater detectors picked up a regular heartbeat, which created a serious monster buzz. This was earlier in the year. The rhythmic pulsing was detected on a hydrophone, a device that was that measures underwater sounds in all directions, that was deployed some 100 feet below the Scottish lake surface. While the source of the sound is unclear, experts were abuzz with excitement. We talked about that earlier in the year too, this hydrophone that was put down there. Now, what that was picking up could be anything. It could be any sea creature, not just necessarily Loch Ness Monster. So, I don't know. With that, Mal, now that it's hit two canoes and it was something different than wood, what do you think it could have hit?
Still a body.
Still a body.
It's just moving around.
It's just moving around down there.
It's kind of floating around. No, I don't know. I still think it's just like a big fish, or like you said, an eel.
Those eels can get pretty big. I don't know. It's hard for me to say.
I mean, I would think after all of these years, there would be more sightings if there really was a Loch Ness Monster of it like popping out. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There'd be more evidence than just, I don't know.
There have been a few people that claim they've seen something that looks eel-like or plesiosaur-like that has popped out of the water, and they've managed to get something rolling coming out of the water and taken pictures, which is somewhat convincing that I've seen some of those pictures. And maybe that's what these guys ran into. Maybe that's what hit
Right.
the bottom of the boat. I don't know that something like that would come up and actually hit a swimmer, though.
Yeah.
You know, that to me seems a little far-fetched. I think whatever hit the swimmer was probably something a little smaller. I don't think it was actually the Loch Ness Monster. So.
Right.
All right, this Minnesota monster or Minnesota mystery beast, as they're calling it, is baffling experts, Mal. And before we jump into it, I don't want you to spoil the surprise for people, but I'm gonna show you what it is here on video if you can see it. Is the video playing?
Yeah.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
Okay, don't say anything yet.
Okay. I'm waiting for what I'm seeing is what they think it is.
Yeah. Now it looks pretty average to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want you to say anything.
Well, no, I didn't know if I was missing something.
No, you're not missing anything.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what appears to be a wolf-dog hybrid has been discovered wandering around the woods of northern Minnesota. Sorta. I haven't lost the accent at all. And experts can't make heads or tails of the mysterious beast. Now, you may be saying, Tim, what's so different about this thing? I'll show Mallie a different picture and she'll see. The wild find occurred after the Voyagers Wolf Project, a University of Minnesota research group, captured footage of the animal, which looks super cool, roaming around a trail. Now, Mallie, here's a still picture of the thing. Look at how big this thing is.
Yeah.
That's no ordinary wolf.
Yeah, but isn't there that hybrid? Because I know they're illegal in Michigan because Derek really wanted one, but it's like a wolf hybrid and they're gigantic.
They are. That's what this is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget what the name is, though. There's
Yeah,
like a certain name for it.
This thing is huge. Now a debate has ensued to what exactly this apparent wolf pooch might be and how the heck this has happened. Here's another picture of this thing. Take a look at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
Right. It is.
It's a gorgeous wolf. And it does look like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Which tells me that it might have gotten a hold of like a husky or...
Yeah, because it looks like a husky German Shepherd kind of...
And it
like the coloring is German Shepherd.
Right. And it might have mated with it looks like it mated with a husky in the area. In fact, let me see if I can.
Well, I thought they were huskies that were running by when you first showed me the video. I thought it was like night vision for huskies.
It ran like a husky. There's a blown up picture of it from the side.
Yeah.
It looks like a husky mix, doesn't it?
He's well fed. Yes.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's been eating well. Well, he's probably been killing deer up there. But this thing is huge. I mean, this is an absolute huge wolf dog hybrid. I mean, it almost looks like it's half the size of a deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is big.
Yeah. This is a big creature. What appears to be a wolf dog hybrid has been discovered wandering around the woods of northern Minnesota, and experts can't make heads or tails of the mysterious beast. The wild find occurred after the Voyagers Wolf Project, a University of Minnesota research group, captured footage of the animal, which looks super cool, roaming around a trail. Now the debate has ensued as to what exactly the apparent wolf pooch might be or how the heck this happened. It's no hoax. The mystery beast, again, super cool looking, has been spotted nearly a dozen times in the area since late March, per the group which posted the vids and info to social media. Making the situation even more curious, the mystery beast was seen on multiple occasions hanging with wolves. While the experts hash it out, they note whatever it is may look super cute and sweet, but it's still a wild animal with some dangerous pals, so best just to enjoy it via video footage. It's really cool looking, and it's a gorgeous animal. I mean, it's one of those animals you probably want to bring home. I mean, and like you said, I mean, Derek wanted one for himself.
Yeah, it had a name, and I can't remember, but they're just gigantic.
They are.
And they're like a wolf mixed breed, but I know that they're illegal in most states.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a wolf husky mix. But it's incredibly dangerous. So,
yeah.
All right. Another TV show returning to your screens for a 5th season in October is Unsolved Mysteries.
Ooh.
Which is coming back. The popular reboot of the iconic TV series is once again returning with another set of perplexing enigmas. The original run of Unsolved Mysteries spanned a whole 14 seasons between 1987 and 2010, and is best remembered for its host Robert Stack, who sadly died in 2003, as well as its reenactments of various mysteries, unexplained phenomena, and unsolved crime cases. While the recent Netflix revival has mostly done away with the reenactments, its eerie and suspenseful exploitation of various unsolved cases has proven a major hit with viewers, with the show ranking #1 in the U.S. on the streaming service mere hours after its debut back in July of 2020. Since then, there have been several more reasons or volumes on the streaming platform. The next one, which is Volume 5, will be debuting on October 2nd and will feature several more chilling mysteries ranging from true crime cases to the long-running phenomena. No episode list has been dropped so far, but from the trailer, we can ascertain that the topics covered will include the Roswell incident, cattle mutilations, and ghosts. There will also be at least one episode about a mysterious disappearance. I tell you what, there's another trailer for this, and I guess I'll post it in the description of this program so you can watch it.
Very cool. Do they still do that intro music?
You know what? I think they have a variation.
The creepy music that we grew up with, where we're like, well, I guess not grew up because we would have already been in our teens.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's a variation of it. I don't think it's the same one, but I think it's a variation of it. Yeah.
Oh, fun fact.
Yeah.
On my block, a few houses down, they filmed an episode of that show.
Really?
Back in the 90s?
Yeah.
I want to say. Yeah.
Really?
Yep, because my neighbors were talking about it, how they sat on the front porch and they watched the TV crew film at the house at the end of the block.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, I have one last story for you today.
Okay, doke.
This is how we're going to leave you today. Of course, we got to leave you with a bit of a bang or a nah. All right. This
is how goat?
It is. Yeah. Good ear, Mal. Good ear. We leave you today with a mutant alien goat that was born with conjoined eyes.
Oh, those are like those things that you see in the jar. Like they didn't come like to full birth.
Yeah. Here, I got a video of it. You want to see him? There he is right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, is that its mouth or its eye?
That's for you to decide.
Where's its eye?
It's conjoined.
There it is. Okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor baby.
I know. Owner Carrie Rajak from India was left baffled when this goat was found to have conjoined eyes directly above its mouth with no eyelids, meaning the animal is also unable to blink.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Villagers were left spooked after a baby goat was born with conjoined eyes, with many mistaking the small animal for an alien. How could you mistake a goat for an alien?
No.
Yeah. Owner Carrie Rajak was left baffled when the nanny gave birth to the unique...
Is that what they call like female goats?
I think so, yeah. I was going to say, I don't think it was the nanny that takes care of the kids. When the nanny gave birth to the unique-looking kid, the goat's eyeballs were found to be fused together in the center of its face, but it also had no eyelids, meaning it was unable to blink. Its fused eyes were located directly above its mouth, from which its oversized tongue dangles lifelessly. The mother had given birth to 2 kids last week in Sirsad, Shivpuri, Madhya Pradesh, India. Bless me. I got it all out, though. But the kids' siblings were born looking normal and completely healthy, according to reports. Crowds reportedly formed to catch a glimpse of the strange-looking farm animal. Carrie said the goat's mother was showering the baby with love and was keeping it close to her. Aw. Gotta like that.
Sweet.
Yeah. The goat is believed to have a genetic disorder known as cyclopia, a congenital defect characterized by fusion of the orbits into a single cavity containing one eye. Cyclopia can be caused by genetic mutations, exposure to teratogenic substances, chromosomal abnormalities, maternal illness, or poor nutrition. Most embryos with the defect are either miscarried or stillborn, but a small number are born alive, only to die a few hours later.
Oh,
poor guy. The condition is rare in animals, but even rarer still in humans. In some cases, documented in farm animals, the nose and mouth fail to form, or the nose grows from the roof of the mouth. This obstructs airflow, and the animal suffocates within hours. I know, right?
So this isn't a happy story.
Well, not yet.
Okay.
There's more, Mallie.
All right.
In November of 2022, another farmer in India was left astonished after his goat gave birth to a kid with cyclops eyes. The kid was born with two large eyes fused together in the middle of its forehead, with news of the birth spreading quickly across the community, prompting amazement from onlookers. Crowds of people rushed to see the rare phenomena after it was born in Sultanpur, India. The baby goat was found to have two eyeballs under one eyelid. Goat owner Umesh Maratha, who had been raising goats for years, said it was the first time he had seen anything like it. The animal's unique appearance left several villagers in disbelief, and some compare the lamb to a human. Let's see here. I have a better picture of the kid here. Let's see. There it is right there. Let's see. Just trying to get this ad out of the way so you can actually see him. Here he is right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just worry about it. Looks like a Muppet. I just worry about his eyeballs drying out.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have an eyelid.
Yeah. And you hope that he doesn't suffocate or anything like that.
Right.
You'd hope that he's able to live. That's the only.
Now, are
downside.
goats sacred to them or not?
That's a good question.
Because, cows are, correct?
Right, cows are. Yeah. I don't know. Let's look it up real quick. I would ask Siri, but she's been acting weird on me lately. I got to upgrade
Just
my
out of
phone.
curiosity.
Let's see here. Are goats sacred
in India?
India. You're not going to like the answer.
Oh.
It
Do
says
they eat them?
in some villages, goats are often used in animal sacrifice rituals to local deities and powerful forms of the Devi. The blood from the sacrifice is often smeared on a post outside the temple. In the festival of Navratri, in some areas such as West Bengal, goats are sacrificed on the 10th day of Navratri, which is known as Dussehra. In the Hindu region, Brahmanic texts say that the goats are among the 5 creatures that were suitable for sacrifice in Vedic India. We're not batting 1,000 here.
Okay.
And
this is not a good story to end with.
In the Newar community,
Timmy.
In a Nepali town, goats are considered holy. And
Okay, there we go.
And are believed to belong to the goddess Rudrayani. Newar farmers believe that God looks after the goats and that they can eat anything they want. That's in Newar.
Okay.
Hopefully he was born in Newar.
Yes.
Yeah. In the deity Nagamesha is a deity that's sometimes depicted with a goat's head, short horns, and a long beard and drooping ears. So there's 2 areas in India where goats are good.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hope it's one of those 2 areas.
Yes.
Yeah. See, it didn't end badly.
The odds are against us.
Well, if you want to look at it negatively.
You just told me that it could probably suffocate. They don't live very long if they made it to being birthed, and that majority of India eats them and sacrifices them.
Well, 2 out of 5 worship them, and 3 out of 5 slaughter them for sacrifice. But sacrifices for the gods is a gift, Mallie. So in the end, really, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah. Back in the day when I was in real estate, I had a couple closings that they would get upset if our closing was delayed because they had bought the goat to do the sacrifice for the purchasing of a home. There's like a big party, like they do a sacrificial thing. Yeah. They're like, but we already bought the goat. I'm just like, another day for the goat. Let it live, please.
And you're like,
Yeah.
I'll delay it. Oh, see it? You're like, oh, well, chain them up. It's going to be a while.
I understand it's their culture, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I love animals. Except for snakes.
You don't
But
like
anyway,
snakes, huh?
I digress.
I love animals too. You gotta do what you do to keep the goat alive for another day, I guess.
They put on goggles, like a big old diving mask over the eyeball to keep it moist.
Or like Cyclops from the X-Men, you put a little visor on him. Yeah.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Name
some
him.
eye drops, some Visine.
Yep. Put Visine in his eyes, keep him alive for a little while. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Well, that's about it for today. I know over at paranormalgirl.com, you got a few things going on there. Do you have anything new and exciting over there?
I'm actually in the process of trying to find some fall beverages to post to make some little cocktails and post. So yeah.
We are coming to that time of year.
Yep.
You know, the fact that I'm loving this week because the temperature managed to fall over here. So
yeah. I've been burning my pumpkin spice candles already.
Oh, see. Yeah, I started finally taking a warm beverage out onto the porch instead of a cold beverage because it had been 90.
I know last week was just it
was horrible. You know, I don't mind we'll call it an indigenous summer.
Oh yes.
But, you know, I don't mind that, but it's, you know, when it's, you know, mid 80s to low 90s every day and it's, you know, we're getting close to October. That's a little much.
Yeah, my utility bill has been a little extra for the past couple of months because it's been extremely hot and humid.
Right. I kind of look forward to my 70s in September. So, you know, the
sweater weather.
Right. So the fact that the last couple of days here have been, you know, upper 60s, low 70s has been nice. So I've been.
Plus, it's hard to get in the Halloween fall mood when you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I want to start seeing my houses decorated and watching scary movies and, you know, going to Halloween themed things. And I can't do it when it's hot.
It's as green as money out there still.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Today it's overcast and rainy and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I was sitting out with the chippers this morning and it was green. It was pretty darn green. So I don't know. And they, you know, what's scary is the chippers aren't normally this time of year. They're collecting seeds all day long. Half days. Which makes me think either this winter is not going to be that harsh.
Right.
Or it's going to be really harsh. And they're going to be sleeping a lot and they're not going to need a lot of food.
Yeah. Oh.
So I don't know. It's one or the other. It's either going to it's going to be one extreme or the other. It's either going to be really warm or it's going to be really cold. So I don't know. They just haven't been out a lot lately. So they're mainly in the morning, and then they're you know they don't come out all day long, which is unusual.
Right.
Because last year they were out all day long collecting, and I mean they're more reliable than the Farmer's Almanac when it comes to forecasting winter. So I don't know. I mean last year they were out all day long and we had a mild winter.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Christmas was like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. And they collected a lot of food. And that mainly is because they go into torpor, which is kind of a half sleep. So they get up, they eat, they go back to bed. I mean,
Sounds like me.
I would love to live their life in the wintertime. You know, hardly do any work, sleep all day, you know, eat, get up, eat, sleep, go to the bathroom.
Eat, true crime, go back to sleep.
Yeah, do a little true crime, go back to sleep, right? I mean, it'd be the life.
Yeah.
But but this year is different. They're half days and then they're back in their den. So I don't know. I'm a little afraid for this winter, Mel. I think it might be a harsh winter.
Ugh.
Hard to
Anything new with you?
On this end, I'm I'm going up with Jessica and Ghost Stories Inc. in November, up to the Palmer House Hotel.
Ooh, fun.
We're doing a trip up there. So by all means, check out the link in the description of this program. Get your tickets for that. There's a Darkness 20 is the code in order to save some money on that trip. Speaking of, tomorrow on the program, Jessica and Natalie Fowler, her co-author, will be on the program. They have 2 new books out. I'll put the link in the description of this program to get those books so
Very
that
cool.
you can follow along on tomorrow's program. It's going to be exciting, tomorrow's program, having both Jess and Natalie on the program and talking about those books. So those are our guests for tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah. Monsters of the Northeast, and I don't have the name of the second book in front of me. But yeah, it's going to be a heck of a show for tomorrow. I know that. They're both very good books. And I mean, there's mentions of Lauren Coleman and Lon Strickler and a bunch of different friends of the show on tomorrow's program. Lots of monsters, lots of paranormal tales tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting show. We're going to have a good time tomorrow. So, and the 2 of them have outdone themselves. So if you're looking for a good supernatural paranormal read for the fall, especially around Halloween, this is the book. If you're looking for a good read, good stories. And both books are one of those books where if you're looking just for a quick story, quick read, and you want to put it down, pick it back up again, both books are excellent for that.
Nice.
If you're just looking for, something to pick up and put back down again, excellent books, both books. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the other. I feel bad that I don't have the other name of the other book in front of me. It is, I should have.
Just blame it on old age.
That's right. I can just blame it on old age. You're right, Mallie, because it's one of those
I always
things.
blame it on perimenopause for me.
That's right. I'll blame it on perimenopause for me.
Yep.
I can't blame it on perimenopause. It's horrible. The names of the books are Ghostly Tales of Pennsylvania. That's what it is.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Yes, Ghostly Tales of Pennsylvania and Monsters of the Northeast. So we're focused on the Northeast tomorrow. So
Very cool.
yeah, so both books are very good and great tales in both of them. So and some good friends are mentioned in the books as well. So we got a great show lined up for tomorrow. So looking forward to it. Yeah. By the way, there's also some great new items in the darknessradioshow.com store. Go get the items in the store. Otherwise, we're shutting down the show forever. So that's just the way it goes. I have no other way to blackmail you other than to say support the show.
Yeah, nothing like a good guilt trip.
That's right. So support the show by buying the items in the store. Otherwise, we're shutting this thing down forever. But no, I mean, there's things like a stuffed Slimer.
Oh, like the one behind you?
Yeah, like the one behind me. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, stuffed Slimer. See him?
Very cool.
Yep, you can get him in the store. Boy, we've got some awesome. There's little mini PVC little movie monsters. So you've got like a little mini Chucky, a little mini Jason, a little mini Leatherface. There's a set of them in there. We've got little metal signs, Captain Spaulding metal sign, fried chicken and gasoline. Man, there's just so much good stuff in there that we've imported into the store.
Didn't
just
you have some fun socks?
Yes, fun socks. Yes, yes. There's sock sets, Movie Monster sock sets in there. There's all kinds of great stuff for the Halloween season. So. Cool. Check out the store. You got to check out the store, folks, because otherwise we're holding the show hostage if you don't.
You won't release until you get a purchase.
That's right. That's right. You don't get a new download until there's a purchase. So. I don't know.
It's like those, what were they called? Telethons? Do they even do those anymore?
Yeah, the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Yeah, but you have to get to like a certain spot on the thermometer looking thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And then once we reach that, then you release a show.
That's right. That's how it's going to go now. So that's what we're doing. Until we make a certain amount of sales, no more shows. So there you go. So that'll do it for today. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Again, tomorrow, Jessica Freeberg, Natalie Fowler, Ghosts of Pennsylvania, and Monsters of the Northeast. That's what we're looking at tomorrow. Join us tomorrow. Or, unless we don't sell anything on the website, maybe it won't be there tomorrow.
Maybe see you in 2 months.
Yeah, maybe you'll get it in 2 months.
There you go.
See what we do?
Christmas time.
Yeah, you'll get that for Christmas. Unless you buy something from the store. So see how we are.
Hey, Christmas is coming up. Time for gift giving.
That's right. Unless you don't buy anything from the store. Then there you go. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So we'll see you tomorrow for more of the best in paranormal podcasting. We'll see you tomorrow for Darkness Radio.